In the misty hollows of West Virginia, where the Appalachian Mountains cast long shadows and the Ohio River whispers ancient secrets, a legend was born. This is the tale of the Mothman, a creature that emerged from the depths of American folklore to become one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. Our story begins in the small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Nestled along the banks of the Ohio River, Point Pleasant was a quiet community where everyone knew their neighbors and life moved at a leisurely pace. In the falls of 1966, something arrived that would shatter the town's tranquility, etching its name into the annals of supernatural folklore. On a chilly November night, two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Mallet, were out for a late-night drive. Their destination was an abandoned World War II munitions plant on the outskirts of town, known locally as the TNT area. This sprawling complex of bunkers and tunnels had long been a popular spot for local teenagers looking for a thrill. As their cars wound its way through the darkened road, headlights cutting through the mist, they saw something that defied explanation. There, in the beams of light, stood a creature unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was tall, nearly 7 feet in height, with a broad, muscular shoulder. But it was the wings that truly set it apart. Folded against its back were two enormous wings, like those of a giant moth or bat. But the most terrifying feature, the one that would haunt the witness's dream for years to come, were its eyes. Two large, round eyes that glowed an unearthly red, reflecting the car's headlights with an intensity that seemed to bore into every souls of the onlookers. Panic-stricken, the group fled, but the creature gave chase. It kept pace with their car, even as they pushed the speedometer past 100 miles per hour. When they finally reached the safety of town, they immediately reported the encounter to Deputy Millard Halstead at the Mason County Courthouse. Halstead, a seasoned law enforcement officer, was skeptical at first, but the genuine terror in the eyes of the witnesses convinced him that something truly unusual had occurred. He accompanied the group back to the TNT area, and though they didn't see the creature again, they did notice a peculiar pulsing sound that seemed to emanate from nowhere and everywhere at once. News of the encounter spread like wildfire through Point Pleasant. In the days that followed, more sightings were reported. A contractor named Newell Partridge claimed to have seen the creature on his property. Its eyes glowed in the beam of his flashlight. His normally loyal hunting dog, Brandit, ran off into the night, never to be seen again. Two volunteer firemen, Paul Yoder and Benjamin Hennox, reported seeing a large bird with red eyes in the TNT area. They described its eyes as resembling bicycle reflectors. As the sightings multiplied, so did the theories about what this creature could be. Some believed it was an alien visitor, others a government experiment gone wrong. Still others thought it might be a mutated bird, warped by chemical waste from the old munitions plant. The Point Pleasant Register dubbed the creature Mothman, inspired by the popular Batman TV series of the time. The name stuck, and soon Mothman was making headlines across the country. For the next 13 months, Mothman sightings continued. The creature was spotted perched on the roof of the local church, soaring over homes and lurking in the shadows of the TNT area. Some witnesses reported experiencing strange side effects after their encounters: burns on their skins, high irritation, and even prophetic dreams. As the Mothman phenomenon grew, It attracted the attention of paranormal investigators and journalists across the country. Among them was John Keel, a writer who would later pen The Mothman Prophecies, a book that would become the definitive account of the events in Point Pleasant. Keel spent considerable time in the area, interviewing witnesses and investigating the strange occurrences. He noted that the Mothman sightings seemed to coincide with the other paranormal activity in the area: UFO sightings, strange lights in the sky, and encounters with mysterious men in black who warned witnesses not to speak about what they had seen. But as the people of Point Pleasant grappled with the presence of the Mothman, a far greater tragedy was looming on the horizon. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge, which spanned the Ohio River and connected Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, Ohio, was packed with rush hour traffic. Without warning, the bridge collapsed, plunging dozens of vehicles into the icy waters below. 46 people lost their lives in what remains one of the deadliest bridge disasters in American history. In the aftermath of the tragedy, many in Point Pleasant couldn't help but draw connections between the Mothman sightings and the bridge collapse. Had the creature been trying to warn them? Was it a harbinger of doom, its presence a portent of the catastrophe to come? Adding to the mystery, the Mothman sighting seemed to cease after the Silver Bridge collapsed. It was as if the creature's purpose, whatever it may have been, had been fulfilled. In the years that followed, the legend of the Mothman only grew. Books were written, movies were made. Point Pleasant became a pilgrimage site for paranormal enthusiasts from the world. Today, a large metallic statue of the Mothman stands in downtown Point Pleasant, its wings outstretched and red eyes gleaming. The town hosts an annual Mothman festival, drawing thousands of visitors every year to celebrate and speculate about the mysterious creature. But what was the Mothman? Theories abound, each as fantastical as the last. Some believe it was an alien being, perhaps a scout for an extraterrestrial reconnaissance mission. Others argue it was a cryptid, an undiscovered species that had somehow managed to evade scientific classification. Skeptics point to more mundane explanations. The sandhill crane, a large bird native to North America, has been suggested as a possible culprit. Up to 7 feet and definitive red markings around its eyes, the sandhill crane glimpsed in low light could potentially be mistaken for something most mysterious. Others suggest that the sightings were the result of mass hysteria, a phenomenon where a collective fear or excitement can lead to widespread misinterpretation of events. The power of suggestions, combined with the anxiety of the Cold War era and the isolation of rural West Virginia, could have created a perfect storm for search and occurrence. Yet for many, particularly those who claim to have seen the Mothman with their own eyes, these explanations fall very short. The sheer numbers of sightings, the consistency of the descriptions, and the apparent intelligence of the creature seemed to defy simple categorization. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the Mothman legend is its connection to prophecy and disaster. The Silver Bridge tragedy was not the only instance where the Mothman seemed to presage catastrophe. In the years since, there have been claims of Mothman sightings before other disasters, including the Chernobyl nuclear accident and the September 11 terrorist attacks in the US. This has led some to speculate that the Mothman is not a physical creature at all, but rather a psychic phenomenon, a manifestation of collective premonition or a kind of time sleep that allows glimpses of future tragedies to bleed into the present. Whatever the truth may be, the legend of the Mothman has become an indelible part of American folklore. It speaks to our fascination with the unknown, our fear of the unexplainable, and our eternal quest to unravel the mysteries of the world. In the end, perhaps the true power of the Mothman lies not in what it was, but in what it represents. It stands as a reminder that even in our modern scientific age, there are still shadows on the edges of our understanding. It challenges us to keep questioning, to keep exploring, and to maintain our sense of wonder at the vast, strange world around us. And so the legend lives on, in the vast shrouded hills of West Virginia, in the whispered stories passed down through generations, and in the imaginations of all who hear its tale. The Mothman continues to fly. Its red eyes still gleam in the darkness, a sentinel of the unexplained, forever watching, forever mysterious.